Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello, teacher.
How are you guys? How was your day?
Very tired, teacher.
I need to, but tomorrow is Friday. So, yeah, that's my hope that tomorrow is Friday and then it's Saturday, I'm not gonna take a rest.
Yes, but the practice, the university, what?
Yeah. I had to send an assignment on Sunday and I haven't finished yet. And yeah, I know that I will not have a nice weekend this weekend, but we can't do anything. That's the life. It is what it is. Okay, guys, so let's start. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes.
Okay, guys, my name is Maria Alejandra Alvarado. Welcome to this listening drill. And let's start. For today, we have this topic, and the topic is an introduction to a lecture. So I would like to know if you know what is an introduction to a lecture, or if you have any idea. Just, just speak. Just tell me something. What is the first thing that you think when you see this?
As the name
Phrase?
says, it's an introduction to do a lecture. I mean, it's obvious. It's entitled obvious.
Yeah, but try to give me the chair. It's so mean.
It's like, for example, when you read an essay, you have an introduction of that essay to say what is the object or what is the topic of the essay. So that's introduction.
Yeah, it's a general information about um an information. I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but yeah, it's a general idea about something. It about a theory. It can be a book or something like that, an article, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna share with you a video because the topic is an introduction to a lecture, but the main idea about the lecture that we are going to listen is related with psychology, happiness, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm gonna share with you this video and then I'm gonna ask you what is happening. What is happiness, sorry. So let me copy and paste.
So, what is well being? When do you so what is well being? When do you really feel well in your life? When do you truly feel well? When you're very happy, you're well. Even if you're physically ill, you're still well, isn't it? Even if you're medically diagnosed as ill, you're very happy right now. You are feeling well, isn't it? So fundamentally, well-being means a certain level of joyfulness, certain exuberance of life. What is happiness? We can say happiness is this, that, but in terms of life, your life energies are happening in a more exuberant way what than it normally happens. Depression means your life energies have become very low and stayed. Happiness means your life energies are exuberant. There are many ways of describing happiness, but only those who are happy know what it means to be happy. There is nobody who's not been happy. Everybody's been happy. But the problem is they're not able to maintain it. That's all, isn't it? Everybody's been happy. In the last 24 hours, how many moments of joy have you known? One, two, three, how many? Maybe you can count on your fingers. Many people have nothing to count. When you were 5 years of age, a child, how many moments of joy did you know in 24 hours? Hmm? Lots of them, isn't it? Somebody had to make you unhappy. Now somebody has to make you happy, isn't it? The whole equation has gotten reversed somehow. All this effort of life, everything that you did, education, career, business, family, whatever you did, everything was in pursuit of happiness. Is it so? Everything that humanity has done on this planet is in pursuit of happiness. Is it so? In the last 100 years, we have done too much on this planet. With the use of science and technology, we have changed the very face of this planet. Today, we have the kind of comforts and conveniences that no other generation could ever even imagine. Yes? What royalty could not afford 100 years ago, today average citizens have, isn't it so? Aren't most of you driving chariots with 100, 200 horses? Yes? Even kings could not afford this. But are we any happier? We are definitely the most comfortable generation ever on this planet. Is it so, physically? But are we also the most joyful generation? So it's not worked. Science and technology has brought enormous amount of comfort and convenience to our lives. Things that we could not imagine just 25 years ago are just a living reality today, isn't it? But are we any more joyful? No. And all these comforts and conveniences have not come easy. They've come at a tremendous cost to every other life on this planet. Yes? Every creature, from plant to animal to everything, including human beings, have paid an enormous price to create these comforts and conveniences, and we are not even happy. What is the point? We are literally making a bonfire of this planet. If you are ecstatic, it's okay, burn the planet. It's all right. We are not even happy. I think it's time to really look at it, isn't it? Why are we burning it up if we are not even happy?
Okay, guys, that was his point of view about happiness. But I would like to know what's your point of view? What is happiness for you? So let's start with um Ida. Hi, Ida. Can you hear me, Ida? Can you speak? Hello? No. Okay, Karen.
Teacher. Hola, hola.
Hi.
No podía activar el micrófono, pero
Okay, don't worry. Okay, go ahead. So, my question for you is, what is happiness for you?
la felicidad. Ay. Okay. So I
Yeah.
think
Okay, go ahead.
I believe that happiness is being able to feel fulfill it on comfortable.
Uh, Comfortable? What do you mean? Can you try to explain? Can you say it again because I didn't get it? Let's do something. I'm gonna ask you a specific question, okay? So, do you consider that money can buy happiness? Ida?
Definitely, yes. I'm sorry I interrupt you, but I have to say something. I think so, yes. Sometimes some people romanticize like, oh no, love is everything, family is everything. I'm sorry, but not. You can have your family, yes, but if you don't have money, you're not happy because you don't have food, you don't have how to pay rent, you have to leave the streets, you see your family pass bad days with sickness and unhappiness. So for me, yes, I prefer to cry and clean my tears with money than don't have money. So yes, for me is yes.
Okay, yeah, that's right. There are some people who consider that, that you can be happy without money. But to be honest, you need. I remember when I was in high school, I had a teacher, and she used to say, I mean, uh, there are people who say that money cannot buy happiness, but you can buy a happy moment. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I mean, sometimes if you want to buy a fancy thing, that is going to give you a little bit happy, and that's right. Yeah, I agree with you. But there are some things that obviously that the money can't buy. You don't think that? Or you consider that you can buy anything with the money?
No, no. I mean, you can't buy anything with money. You can't buy self-love with money. That's not true. I mean, you can't. You can't buy what else? Intelligence with money. No, you cannot. I hope that sometimes I don't want to study, and if I have money, I just chin and I'm intelligent. It's impossible. And most of the time, I mean, I'm saying that money can buy, how you say, objects, things that you can touch or have. And as you told you before, as you say before, I'm sorry, money buy moments of happiness, but the happiness is momentaneous. It's impossible to be happy all the time. It's not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Okay, let's listen, Karen. Karen is too quiet. So, Karen, what's your point of view? What is happiness, and do you consider that the money can buy happiness?
It's like
Let me close my microphone. Sorry.
it's a feeling that express gratefulness and a good time, a good things that are happening in that moment, I think. And maybe the money is like the way to have a better life, to have better opportunities, to have like I don't know, like no worries, and it cause happiness. But there are some things that you can't buy with money. But I agree with that, partner, because money is so important to live, because it's the system. It's full of the system of the capitalism.
Yeah, that's right. So I was thinking about something, and I would like to ask you. So what will happen if everyone was able to afford anything? I mean, let's suppose that everybody is rich. How will it be the world? Do you have an idea? What will happen?
If all the people can afford, I don't know, the basic things for a good life, I think it doesn't change the fact that you could feel sad or you could feel frustrated about, I don't know, if you are not feeling happy. It's like you can have a disorder, mental disorder, and you could be rich. So that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, let's move on. So here we have, let me magnify a little bit. Okay, so here we have some definitions and the vocabulary. So you are going to help me to, match. So let's start with the first one. So interesting in something that you don't know, that you do not notice anything else. Any idea?
Perception?
Absorb.
Perception or serve?
No, concentration. Like when you are concentrated, you don't pay attention, don't pay attention to other things that you are doing.
Okay, in this case, it's absorb. When you are so focused on something that you don't notice anything else. You don't care the rest of the world. Okay. Okay, if you want, we can do it in the order that you want. I mean, not in the same order. So if you notice something or this is thing, this is one, this is, just let me know. Okay?
Perception.
Okay, what do you think is perception?
Because
With number.
sí, de verdad. Okay. Y is two. Y is two perception.
Yeah, that's right.
Psychologist is 5.
Yeah.
Number 6 belong to D, to lose track of.
Wait. Lose track of is number?
The physical or mental condition of a person at a specific time. Oh, no, a
Mm,
state. Oh,
not
wait,
really.
what?
Mm, the process of giving all your attention to something, that is concentration. Yes or no? Yeah.
Okay. So we have only two.
6A.
And lose the track is forget about sun. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna send you. We are going to listen the introduction to a lecture, and I'm gonna send this into the chat. And as you can see, there are some spaces with number 6, number 7, blah, 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 and so on, so on, so on. So you have to listen carefully because you are going to complete the gap. Okay? You can put the answer in the chat. Number 1, blah, 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 blah. Number 2, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Is that clear for you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's listen.
This recording is from the British Council.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of our new course in positive psychology. While some people may associate psychology with looking at what's wrong with us and at what problems we have, there is much more to psychology than that. Positive psychology, for example, looks at how to help people become happier. This lecture begins with a question: what makes a happy life? Now, I'm going to give you one possible answer. A happy life is a life in which you are completely absorbed in what you do. Now, how does this compare with what you and your partner said? This answer comes from the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and the theory of flow. Csikszentmihalyi is a psychologist who has spent much of his professional life on the study of what makes people happy and how we can find happiness. Csikszentmihalyi suggests the theory that happiness is not caused by external events or things that happen to us. Our perception of these things and how we see these events either makes us happy or sad. In other words, if we want happiness, we have to actively look for it. However, this does not mean that we should always look for happiness. Csikszentmihalyi believed that our happiest moments happen when we are in a state of flow. The theory of flow can be summarized like this. When we are totally involved in or focused on what we are doing, we are in a state of flow. Csikszentmihalyi got the inspiration for this theory when he noticed how artists worked in a studio. They completely lost track of time. They didn't notice they were hungry or tired, and they could work for hours, even days, without stopping. Anyone I've spoken to who has experienced this state of concentration has said it's difficult to explain. The best way to explain it is that it is like being in a river, and the flow of the water carries you away. For the rest of this lecture, I will explore this theory of flow in more detail. First, we will look at Csikszentmihalyi's life and how it influenced his ideas. Then we will look at the conditions that go with a state of flow. What creates flow exactly? Finally, we will look at activities that can help us achieve flow in our everyday lives. Will this course make you happy for life? Well, maybe. Maybe. Right, let's get started. If you look at the next slide.
Okay, guys, how was it? You want to listen again?
Teacher, I send that the answers.
You already sent it? Okay.
Is I don't have it.
I haven't checked, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe the Catherine is just typing. But that's right, absolutely. Yeah. Positive psychology being. Hold on. Let me check. The first one is positive, the second psychology. Number 3, become. Number 4, happier. Number 5, absorb. Number 6, notice. Number 7, concentration. Number 8, achieve. Karen, that was almost perfect.
The tier one was what?
Become.
Become. Okay.
Yeah. Become. Okay, I would like to know if that was clear for you. How this theory works. I mean, if that was clear for you, because maybe you just understand the word that was in the empty, because there are some gaps. But I would like to know if the general topic, this theory, was clear for you.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Because I wanted to share with you a video. I don't know if you want, that is related with this. I really like it because it's so clear. I'm gonna share it. Hold on, I think that I am not sharing my screen.
Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and that's by the way how you say his name, dedicates a big part of the book to this idea that a person can make himself happy or miserable regardless of what is actually happening outside just by changing the contents of consciousness. And he goes on to quote Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius and Viktor Frankl, so this idea isn't something new. It's been around for millennia now. But recently we've been able to gather more data on it. And I've talked about this idea ad nauseum by now, so I won't go into detail with it. I've talked about it in my videos about meditations and man's search for meaning and many other videos, but to touch on it briefly, people have this idea that if you just had a bigger house, you'd be happy. If you just had a nicer car, you'd be happy. If you just had a lot of money, you'd be happy. But that's just not how happiness works. Here's a graph adjusted for inflation that shows a period of about half a century where personal income tripled, but it didn't really affect how happy people were. After some basic point where your basic needs have been met, buying an even bigger house isn't the way to happiness. It's about changing the contents of your consciousness. So how can we change the contents of our consciousness? One of the best ways to do this is to put ourselves in a state of optimal experience called flow. Csikszentmihalyi describes flow as the state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. He goes on to say that concentration is so intense that there is no attention left over to think about anything irrelevant or to worry about problems. Self consciousness disappears and the sense of time becomes distorted. And you've probably experienced this before, and it's absolutely one of the best feelings in the world. If you're working on your business, you might be so focused on what you're doing that 12 hours might pass and you have no idea. All of a sudden, you look up and you realize you haven't had any food, you haven't thought about anything else. The only thing that you could focus on was your business. And the same thing applies to so many other activities, whether you're a rock climber focused on climbing your new record or a master pianist composing your new masterpiece. It's an amazing feeling. You're so immersed into what you love doing, into what you're really good at, that your brain simply can't focus on other things. You're not worrying about stupid things. You're not regretting what you did yesterday or stressing about what you'll do tomorrow. It's absolutely one of the best feelings in the world. So if we look at the flow diagram, here's how you put yourself in the state of flow. You don't want what you're doing to be too challenging, otherwise you'll have anxiety. You don't want what you're doing to be too easy for your skills either, otherwise you'll be bored. But it's when you balance these two that you end up in the flow channel. You're striving towards the upper right corner constantly. You increase your challenge, you get better. You get better, you increase your challenge. And the more you move toward that direction, the more intense the state of flow gets. So this is not really a how-to book, but our goal should be to find what it is that we love and then keep getting better at it and keep making it more challenging. Or in other words, the main goal is to spend as much of your life as you possibly can in the state of flow, because that is where you find this unbelievable ecstasy. And Csikszentmihalyi gives an example of the Indians in the Shuswap region of Canada who would settle down in a place filled with resources, and life was good and they had everything they needed. They had all the food and fish where they were, but the elders would make sure that the entire village would just pack up and move to a new location every 25 or 30 years. This way they knew they would have new places to explore and hunt and fish and new challenges to overcome. And it's a great story to keep in mind when you think about how most people just want to settle down in front of their TV for the rest of their lives. And in a lot of my videos, I criticize being in front of the TV all night or spending your entire day on your Facebook feed. And I often get people who tell me, well, what if that makes the person happy? And the answer is, sitting on Facebook all day will not make anyone genuinely happy. If you pick a person who spends his entire day in front of the TV, he's probably not going to be the most exciting, happy, ecstatic person. So let's take a look at the graph again. Looking at your Facebook all day or watching TV puts you in the lower left corner of the graph, which is known as the area of apathy. There's no challenge involved, there's no skill involved, you're apathetic. And when you're not completely apathetic, you're probably sitting there bored or worrying about everything there is to worry about. So move away from that. Move away from the boredom, apathy, and worry, and move towards ecstasy, which is what you'll experience when you hit the state of optimal experience called flow.
Okay, that gives us a better idea. Okay, so now let's move to the question, the exercise that we have here. So these exercise are based on the listening. So
Can
here,
sorry, teacher, can I say something about that video?
yes, of course.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the idea that the guy gave me is ignorance is happiness. Sounds bad. I know, sounds bad.
Kinda.
The indigenous at that time or our grandpas at that time, they don't have internet, they don't have the way or the money to go out the country, they don't have television. So the word ignorance, but not ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they don't leave anything else outside the bubble they were living. So
Yeah.
that's why our generation has more depression and more sadness. It's because we can see the world is big, is huge, and we cannot achieve our dreams. So ignorance is happiness, I think so.
Yeah, and that reminds me that's phenomenal. This thing that is related with social media. I mean, when you are just focused on following people, you are sometimes comparing, making comparison, and that makes you feel, even if you sometimes we deny, we say no, oh, no, I'm not making comparison, no, I feel okay, no, but sometimes it's just unconscious, and that makes us feel a little bit miserable. I mean, because you see every single day, if you follow people, sometimes it's not at always people who are just achieving things or getting more things, and sometimes you feel that you are stuck in the same place. That's why, to be honest, that's why I decided in period of time years ago to just quit social media. And I was like I was like so focused on people and other people and making comparison all the time. And yeah, when you are just ignoring, you are just living just by yourself. You are just focus on yourself, and you don't care someone else or what's going on with the rest of the world. But globalization, just internet, everything. Now we have everything in our hands. I mean, you can speak with someone who is in United States, who is in Russia, but years ago, decades ago, people were not able to do that. Yeah, but but it is what it is. What can I say?
Just keep going.
Yeah, sometimes, and that's really sometimes is like when you go to the stream, that can be a very really dangerous. I mean, there are people who have depression and anxiety and that's mental issues due to that, just because of that. And yeah, that's sad. And well, it's really complicated. Okay, guys. So here, so based on the listening, we are going to organize this topic in the order that they're mentioned. Okay. So what do you think that is the first one, the number one? If you are not sure, you can take a look to the transcript that is in the chat. Just take a look.
The first one is what makes a happy life. A happy life, I'm sorry.
That's number two, not number one. No idea, guys. Just
The
take a look
difference
to the.
between psychology and positive psychology?
Yeah, that's the number one. Okay, number three. Not the same time, guys.
I'm just reading, but I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
She'll meet higher in his work.
No.
Maybe one definition of
Yeah, that's number 3.
happy life.
And then goes that you already mentioned, it's number 4.
Examples of flow.
Yeah, that's right. And the last one is really obvious. Is this one, number 6. Let me move. Okay, so here we had some sentence, and you are going to tell me if those sentences are true or false. Let's start with the first one. Positive psychology focuses on people's problems. That's true or false?
False.
False, absolutely. Number 2, the teacher asks the student to define a happy life.
False.
You sure?
Pues you say define happiness. Is the same happy life and happiness?
Yeah.
Or if okay, that's true.
Okay, Milhali Shiha Jesus Christ, that name. Since send me, okay, blah, 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 believes, believes that external events are the main things that make us happy or sad.
True.
You sure?
All my answers aren't wrong. I'm sorry.
This is false. Number 3. Number 4. Sinset Mihalki believes that happy life means being very focused on what you do.
False.
Number 4 is false.
Yes, it's false.
Are you sure? Just remember that he mentioned that when we are absorbed.
Sorry, I did. Don't believe. No, it's.
It's true.
Yes.
Okay. Since Mihaly studied depression and from there learned about happiness.
False.
Yeah, that's false, sadly. And number 6, hold on.
Six is true. Teacher, are you there?
Sorry, guys. Okay, number 6. Flow means being completely absorbed. What are you doing? In what are you doing?
That's true.
Mhm. And this is number 7. Csikszentmihalyi Mihaly was influenced by watching creative people.
False.
How come? That's true. Remember that it's based on the listening, and you have the transcript. And they mentioned that he was observing so created people, blah 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 blah, that they were so focused on the scene and they don't care about the time. So yeah, that's true. And number 8, the rest of the lecture will look at what other psychologists think of this theory.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I think it's false.
That's false.
Yeah.
You were guessing, estabas adivinando, but yeah. But you got it. Okay. So lucky. Okay, so guys, you are here. Guys, I really enjoyed this time. I hope to see you again in another moment. Please, as soon as we leave, send into the chat your full name, your email, and the course that you are taking. That's for the attendance, okay? So that's it for today. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, teacher, thank you.